Design decisions of F1 that led to the domination of Red Bull in 2022. It is not surprising to see why RB18 has proved so effective for the new current rules. Instead, it's a combination of various factors, some of which were designed from the start and others that have been developed together in unison to create a brilliant overall package. So, what design decisions of F1 led Red Bull to dominate in 2022? Let's find out. Having considered the impact of suspension on the new 2022 cars, Red Bull flipped the script for 2022, opting for a push rod layout at the rear to clear space for the enlarged diffuser and pull rod at the front of the RB18. The other interesting feature in regards to the RB18's front suspension design is that the team continues to use a single element wishbone, albeit this year it's applied to the top forwardmost arm, as the setup is flipped over from before. As part of the repackaging efforts for 2022, the steering assembly that had previously been buried within the chassis over the last 2 seasons has been returned to its more natural habitat at the front of the bulkhead. The bib tray, in Red Bull's case, comes in the form of a Belleville spring, whereas other options such as a damper, coil spring or leaf spring are being employed up and down the grid to varying degrees of effectiveness. The use of a Belleville spring arrangement not only allows for a compact installation, but it also results in less vibration, something that's perhaps worth noting as just one of the factors that can be attributed to Red Bull's lack of bouncing when compared with its rivals. The new regulations have put even more of an emphasis on the performance of the floor and diffuser, with sensitivity to changes in ride height adding importance to several aspects of its design too. Red Bull opted not to use the allowable edge wing like some of its rivals. Interestingly, it appears to have taken some inspiration from the regulations that were introduced in 2021, and which resulted in the Z-shaped cutouts ahead of where teams were required to taper the rear corner of the floor. For example, the floor's bow section has some unexpected contouring that works in conjunction with the forward strake. This is quite a unique design when compared with many of the other teams. An area where we saw Red Bull deliver iterative developments during the opening phase of the season was the inner front brake duct fairing. Owing to an increase in the size of the wheel rims this season, up from 13 inches to 18, the brake discs have grown in diameter too, now measuring around 50 millimeters or more. In response to this, Red Bull and several of its rivals opted to create an internal brake disc fairing, which isolates the brake disc inside the much larger drum and alters the passage of air into, around and away from the brake disc to help moderate the temperatures that will ensue. The biggest of these changes came at the British Grand Prix, where the team introduced a solution seen elsewhere on the grid. The shelf-like shoulder section extends rearward from the halo and cockpit transition, not only creating an upper ledge for which the airflow begs to follow, but also creating a divisional line for the competing flow structures below too. Not every development that's mounted on an F1 car turns out to offer an improvement, and teams often have to weigh up the positives and negatives of pursuing a design that doesn't immediately offer the expected yield. A development introduced by Red Bull at the British Grand Prix is giving them that exact headache, as Max Verstappen's RB18 has recently been fitted with the plain solution, while Sergio Perez has run the more complex arrangement, similar to what Ferrari has used for some time now. The cost cap and a reduction in use of CFD and wind tunnel time based on championship position means that teams have to be more careful than ever to manage not only the development of this year's car, but also next year's challenger. What do you think of this whole situation? Let us know your opinion in the comments. And while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next video.